phones on silent. Thank you.
President of the Academy, past presidents and vice presidents, fellows of the Academy, dear students, media, distinguished guests, both present here and virtual. Good evening. For the Honorary Secretary of the Academy, who is involved in a workshop elsewhere, and the Vice President for Science has asked me to step in for her. Ladies and gentlemen, our chair this evening is a professor of immunology and parasitology, the first emerita professor in science at the University of Ghana, educated at Achimota School of the 64-year group, which means I didn't even meet her at the school. She obtained her PhD from the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine in 1980. For the past 4 decades or so, she has taught and researched at the National Institutes of Health in Maryland and Georgetown University, Washington, D.C., and at the University of Ghana, Legon. Her teaching and research have focused on malaria immunity, immunoparasitology, immunopathology, immunodiagnosis, autoimmunity, molecular immunity. Indeed, you talk about immuno and she's there. And also in vaccine development. She's passionate about biomedical research development and knowledge translation. Our chair has a host of firsts, all detailed out in your brochure, including being the foundation dean of the University of Ghana School of Public Health. She has also served on numerous national and international committees and boards and received several awards, including being the 2014 laureate of the African Kwame Nkrumah Award for Women in Science, the 2019 laureate for the Southmore Ludo Award by the American Society of Tropical Medicine and Hygiene. Additionally, the Women's World Day 2021 recognized her as one of 7 women in science who have changed our world for the better. She is a fellow of the African Academy of Sciences and a fellow of the Ghana Academy of Sciences, Arts and Sciences, which she is also the vice president for the science section. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome our distinguished chair for this evening's function, Emerita Professor Isabella Kwachi.
President of the Academy, Vice Presidents of the Academy, Fellows of the Academy, students, media, good evening. It gives me a great deal of pleasure to introduce our distinguished speaker, who is going to be talking on the establishment of academic medical centers in Ghana. And before then, a brief outline of his accomplishments. Now, Professor Aaran Lawson is a professor of anatomy on contract at the Department of Anatomy, University of Ghana Medical School. He holds an MB CHB degree from the University of Ghana and a PhD degree in anatomy from the University of Leicester, England. He commenced his academic career as lecturer in anatomy in 1985 at the University of Ghana Medical School, becoming a senior lecturer in 1993, associate professor in 1999, and finally professor of anatomy in 2000. He also served as visiting professor at Tulane Medical School and the University of Utah, both in the USA. He has held various administrative positions at the University of Ghana, and these include the head of the Department of Anatomy, Dean of the University of Ghana Medical School, Provost of the College of Sciences. Now, following his retirement from the medical school, few people put in as much work after retirement, but he has managed to do that. Following his retirement from the medical school, he was appointed coordinator of the University of Ghana Medical Center UGMC project, and between 2016 and 2018, he served as the medical center's first interim CEO. He is currently the Director of Medical Training and Simulation at the center. Professor Lawson is an honorary fellow of the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons, the chairman of the Board of Governors of All Nations University College in Koforidua, and a member of the Council of the Accra College of Medicine. Professor Lawson is also a fellow of the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences. So for this evening, audience, your speaker, Professor Lawson, and audience. Audience, your speaker, Professor Lawson, and speaker, your audience. Thank you very much.
President of the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences, past president, vice presidents of the Academy, past vice presidents, fellows of the Academy, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our students, members of the media. I wish to thank the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences for granting me this opportunity to present an inaugural lecture titled Establishment of Academic Medical Centers in Ghana. The lecture considers first a historical development of academic medical centers from a global perspective, then attempts by Ghana to create its own academic medical centers and the challenges that we have encountered as a nation. It also looks at what the future holds for such academic medical centers to provide quaternary level training, research, and service delivery in our country. The format is as follows. First, a few introductory remarks during which I will attempt to define what an academic medical center is, and then briefly look at the types of academic medical centers that we have, the mission, and then why it is important for us as a nation to have academic medical centers. This will be followed by the history of academic medical centers. And here I'll look at it from the global perspective, and then what has been the history in Ghana. And then I'll tell a short story about the University of Ghana Medical Center. I'll touch on governance and finance models for academic medical centers all over the world, and then challenges that we have faced in Ghana as we have tried to establish academic medical centers, the way forward, and then concluding remarks. Introduction. Academic medical centers are complex institutions whose organizational structures differ within and across various countries. The varied names adopted in various countries reflect their organizational complexity. In Canada, for example, we call them academic health care organizations. Ireland, academic health science systems. In the UK, we have three names: Academic Health Science Center, Academic Health Science Partnership, and then Academic Health Science Network. In the West African sub-region, although they exist, we don't have any names for them. So we have them in Ghana and in Nigeria. Because of their complexity and varied organizational structure, there is no universally agreed definition for an academic medical center. I'll, however, touch on two definitions. One is based on structure or composition of the academic medical center, and then the second one based on function. The first definition comes from the Association of Academic Health Centers. It's an allopathic medical school. An allopathic medical school is the traditional medical school that we know about, plus one or more affiliated teaching hospitals and one or more other health professional schools or programs such as dentistry, nursing, pharmacy, allied health, public health. The second definition, based on function, is as follows, and it's an interesting one. A constellation of functions and organizations committed to improving health of patients and populations through the integration of their roles in research, education, and patient care. It is important to recognize that an academic medical center is a composite of two different systems or cultures: education and research on one hand, and healthcare on the other. This relationship is expected to be a complementary or symbiotic one. And where this is not recognized in any system, the system simply does not work. It is not surprising, therefore, that there are variations of academic medical centers all over the world. Some are entirely university-owned, such as the University of Michigan's Academic Medical Center, called Michigan Medicine. Others are setups where the universities that offer training programs do not have any hospitals of their own. They therefore have affiliations or partnerships with other hospitals or hospital groups. Example, Manchester Academic Health Science Center, a partnership between the Faculty of Medicine at the University of Manchester and 5 National Health Service trusts or hospitals. One feature common to all academic medical centers is the mission they pursue. It is therefore more appropriate to define them by the mission they pursue rather than by their organizational models. It is a threefold mission. First, delivery of quality education and training to health professionals, undertaking basic and clinical research, and thirdly, delivery of quality clinical care to patients. Academic medical centers are central and unique to any educational and health care system. As the COVID-19 pandemic has revealed, they are a critical component of our public health response. Truly, as the COVID-19 pandemic raged, the threefold mission of academic medical centers came to the fore. Not only did they provide indispensable service in caring for critically ill patients, but they also advanced science by launching hundreds of clinical trials for critically ill patients and hundreds of clinical trials and other studies focused on treatments and vaccine development. In all, health professionals training at various levels had the opportunity to learn about a novel virus that for 2 years or more brought the entire world to its knees. Why is it important for us to have academic medical centers in Ghana? It is undeniable that academic medical centers have numerous and unique advantages. They have long enjoyed positions of power and prestige. Indeed, in a nation where academic institutions are held in high esteem, academic medical centers have particularly enjoyed a place of prominence, high prominence. They attract the most prestigious faculty, including top-notch scientists and the highest caliber of physicians and other health professionals who are at the top of their fields and represent the very pinnacle of medical success and academic merit. They bring on board an impressive array of diverse specializations in one place to treat every possible health condition. Indeed, no other institutions can attract as highly qualified physicians as academic medical centers. They also attract a large number of patients with diverse phenotypes. As noted by Rosenberg, 2009, and also by Ali and Gittelman, 2016, this rare confluence entails that these institutions occupy a unique position in the biomedical research ecosystem, with a unique potential to facilitate the flow of knowledge from the laboratory bench to the patient's bedside. This is translational research, and it guarantees that patients at academic medical centers receive the highest quality of care. A well-known example in an academic medical center is the work of Joseph Goldstein and Michael Brown, recipients of the 1985 Nobel Prize for Medicine and Physiology. Their initial investigations were inspired by observations they made on their own patients suffering from familial hypercholesterolemia, that's increased cholesterol levels in their blood. Through patient-inspired basic investigations performed at the laboratory bench, they identified the underlying cause of this condition as due to low-density lipoprotein receptors. These discoveries led them to drug development efforts and ultimately leading to the market introduction of statins. These are the Lipitor and Crestor drugs that we happily take each day to lower our cholesterol levels and avoid unwarranted heart conditions. Additionally, academic medical centers are the birthplaces of latest innovation medical diagnostic and treatment technologies. Example, the development of magnetic resonance imaging, MRI, and CT scan, and other imaging technologies all took place at academic medical centers. Academic medical centers also serve as training grounds for emerging physicians, nurses, pharmacists, etc. Here, training is accomplished at both undergraduate and postgraduate levels, including opportunities for sub-specialization in various clinical specialties. From the above, it is clear that any country that has a well-structured and functionally efficient academic medical center is set to offer quality training to its health professionals, carry out cutting-edge research which ultimately will result in the delivery of excellent health care to its citizens. It is therefore a must for Ghana. History of academic medical centers from a global perspective. Kara Gavin, a research and policy media relations manager at the University of Michigan, once wrote, and I quote, "Today we take them for granted. Huge university medical centers filled with patients who travel miles to receive care that is not available anywhere else, from teams of highly specialized clinicians. Nearby research laboratories yield discoveries about the human body and everything that can go wrong with it or heal it. Classrooms hum with questions and answers of students training for a health or science profession. These three-in-one institutions are citadels of curiosity and cutting edge. But where did the idea for an academic medical center come from?" End of quote. According to Duffy, the medical historian, academic medical centers arose out of relative chaos of 18th and 19th century American medicine and medical education. The first medical school was established by the College of Philadelphia in 1766, followed in 1767 by King's College in New York City. Medical education in America was relatively slow to develop methods of instruction tied to scientific study and clinical practice. Medical practice and professional societies were left in the hands of ill-schooled and self-proclaimed practitioners and healers. Instead of, the hospitals also had their fair share of the blame. Instead of serving primarily as institutions of healing, they became almshouses and hospice places to isolate the aged, poor, and chronically ill. Majority of doctors had no formal training, and they were often viewed with suspicion. The establishment of the American Medical Association in 1847 did not change the situation until after it was restructured in 1901. In 1867, the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, became the first university to own a hospital in the United States. And they did this by converting a house meant for built as living quarters into a 20-bed hospital for training of doctors. They also invested in research to support the academic medical center system. The coming together of medical education, research, and healthcare initiated by the University of Michigan later spread to the rest of the United States. Other factors also influenced the growth of academic medical centers. First, the Flexner Report of 1910 that helped to bring about standardization to medical education. And then the quest by the American government to treat post-World Wars I and II veterans. And then thirdly, dealing with public health issues such as influenza and polio. In 2007, a review of future healthcare provision in London first introduced the concept of the Academic Health Science Centre into the mainstream of UK health policy. Thereafter, Imperial College Healthcare became the first self-proclaimed academic health science center to be established in the UK. This was done by the Faculty of Medicine, Imperial College London, merging with two large hospital trusts, Hammersmith Hospital and St. Mary's National Health Service Trust. Between 2009 and 2013, after careful scrutiny, a total of 6 additional partnerships were accredited as academic health science centers. The UK partnership ranged from full integration, such as Imperial College Healthcare, to looser partnerships, such as Manchester Academic Health Science Centre, where the university partnered 7 NHS organizations. Whatever the model, however, a common feature in this is the leadership by a senior clinical academic, the West African sub-region. The first attempt at establishing an academic medical center was in Nigeria at the commencement of the University College Ibadan in 1948. As part of a commission report, the Faculty of Medicine became one of the 3 foundation faculties that started the University College. In 1957, a new 500-bed federal government-funded University College Hospital was completed and commissioned for clinical training. Following this success, a Teaching Hospitals Act was passed to provide uniform administrative structure, composition, and functions of a management board of all teaching hospitals that were to be controlled by the federal government. Medical schools that were established subsequently by the federal government came on board with teaching hospitals to ensure that the teaching, research, and service delivery functions of each academic medical center were fulfilled. What about our history in Ghana? The first attempt at establishing what is known as an academic medical center in Ghana was in the Gold Coast, and it was proposed by Sir Gordon Guggisberg, the then governor of the Gold Coast. This was at the time when the Kolebu Hospital was established in 1924. He envisioned that the Korle Bu Hospital would one day become a foremost medical school, training young men and women as doctors in their own land instead of going abroad. In addition to the medical school, the plan was to include other health professional training institutions as well, all centered around Korle Bu. But for the departure of the governor soon thereafter, the implementation of this laudable plan would have made the Gold Coast the first British West African colony to establish what is now known as an academic medical center. Although the plan was resurrected in 1951, this time with the involvement of the University College of the Gold Coast, this second attempt also did not see the light of day, as the government of the day felt that the Korle Bu Hospital could not be expected to grow into a first-class medical teaching hospital and at the same time remain the country's key health service hospital. Obviously, there was no understanding of the academic medical center concept. So it was decided that a teaching hospital needed to be built on Legon campus for the proposed medical school. A third attempt was initiated in 1960 after a series of discussions culminating in a request by Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, President of the Republic, for financial assistance from the US government for the establishment of the medical school. Thereafter, a US government-sponsored team recommended the setting up of a national medical and health training center, under which the medical school will be the first institution to be established. At full completion, the following were envisaged to be established: a medical school, a school of nursing, a dental school, a school for medical technology, postgraduate training facilities, and then research facilities. Under the arrangement also, US aid was to provide the initial capital, and a 2-year pre-medical course was to be undertaken at the university. This led to the enrollment of a first batch of 51 students in 1962. In 1963, there was an anti-climax. Barely a year into this laudable project, and contrary to all expectations, President Nkrumah suddenly abrogated the contract with the US government, putting the entire medical school program in limbo. He then decided in 1964 to set up a medical school using local resources, that's financial and human. This marked the beginning of the Ghana Medical School, which initially operated as an autonomous institution in Korle Bu. The Korle Bu Hospital also metamorphosed into the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital. In 1969, the medical school became the Ghana Medical School became the University of Ghana Medical School, a semi-autonomous institution within the University of Ghana, to enable the first batch of 39 students graduate with University of Ghana degrees. So after about 4 attempts, a semblance of the first academic medical center comprising the University of Ghana Medical School and the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital was established in Ghana. With time, other health training institutions came on board, both on Korle Bu and Legon campuses, as follows: Basic Dental Sciences Program at Korle Bu in 1974, the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research at Legon in 1979, a full dental school at Korle Bu in 1992, School of Public Health on Legon campus in 1994, School of Allied Health Sciences at Korle Bu in 2000, School of Nursing, which had hitherto operated as a department under Social Sciences at Legon in 2003, and finally in 2007, the School of Pharmacy at Legon. In 1999, the College of Health Sciences was established by the University Council to bring all health training institutions in the University of Ghana under one umbrella. Since their inception and to date, the constituent institutions of the college have continued through various arrangements to use Kolebu Teaching Hospital as the main site for the training of their health professional students. However, the significant increase in student numbers over time, coupled with the slow pace at which obsolete facilities and equipment have given way to modern ones at the hospital, have altogether made it very difficult for students to acquire adequate clinical skills and competencies during their training. There are 4 other partnerships between publicly owned universities and hospitals in Ghana. We will call them academic medical centers. College of Health Sciences at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology and Komfo Teaching Hospital. School of Medicine and Allied Health Sciences at the University for Development Studies and Tamale Teaching Hospital. The College of Health and Allied Sciences at the University of Cape Coast and Cape Coast Teaching Hospital. University of Health and Allied Sciences and the Ho Teaching Hospital. Additionally, 2 private medical schools are currently in operation, with others at various stages of establishment. Both have affiliate hospitals, with one operating a small private hospital in addition. The 6 medical schools have all followed the pattern of Kolebu in terms of their establishment. At their inception, the medical schools became affiliated to regional hospitals, which immediately became transformed into teaching hospitals. When, for example, the School of Medical Sciences at KNUST was founded in 1974, it became affiliated to a 500-bed Kumasi Central Hospital, which had been established in 1954. Thereafter, the latter was immediately converted into a teaching hospital for use by the school. For their clinical training, however, because the Komfo Teaching Hospital was not in a position to train clinical students, the first and second batch of students had to relocate to Kolebu for their clinical training. A similar arrangement operated for the School of Medicine and Health Sciences at the University for Development Studies. The first few batches of students alternated between Kolebu and Kumasi for their clinical training. In 2007, a sword cutting ceremony was performed to initiate the construction of a 2,500-bed KNUST teaching hospital. It was planned to be undertaken in phases. The first phase, currently under construction, would have 800 beds. The whole project on completion will form part of KNUST's fully owned academic medical center. The expectation is that this will operate a single leadership governance model comprising a single board and a team of executive leaders, all governed by the university's own governance structures. And now to the University of Ghana Medical Center story. Since the inception of the medical school in the 60s, the University of Ghana has always nurtured the idea of having its own academic medical center. But for obvious reasons, lack of funding, this has been on the drawing board. The university's goal was to establish a medical village, which is in reality an academic medical center of excellence on Legon campus for the training of all categories of health professionals for the country, delivery of high-quality clinical service, as well as the conduction of cutting-edge medical research. This vision was kept alive through the allocation of a 150-acre parcel of land, of university land, for the project. Thereafter, the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research and the School of Public Health became the first institutions to be situated on the college land. In this plan, a teaching hospital was to be built to serve as a nerve center for the proposed medical village to facilitate the training of health professionals by the constituent institutions of the College of Health Sciences. The university made several efforts to continue the medical village agenda, but the perennial challenge of lack of funding remained a stumbling block. In 2008, however, help came through the Kolebu Neuroscience Foundation, a team of Canadian health facility planning consultants under the auspices of the Kolebu Neuroscience Foundation, undertook a site planning assessment of the college land. As part of the program, a master plan was developed for the land, and this involved the zoning of the land into 3 enclaves: land for research, land for academic services, and land for teaching hospital. In keeping with the medical village agenda, a college relocation committee was set up by the Vice Chancellor, Professor Ernest Aite, to plan the eventual relocation of the college and its constituent institutions from Kolebu to the Legon campus. And Reverend Professor Seth Aite served as the chairman for the committee. In 2011, the University of Ghana revisited the medical village agenda, and this time round, government responded positively through a sword-cutting ceremony in March 2011 by His Excellency President Professor John Evans Atta Mills. It was followed by the acquisition of a $270 million dollar loan from Bank Hapoalim in Israel for a teaching hospital project, which, like KNUST's own, was to be accomplished in phases. Therefore, the initial financing was applied to the first phase of development of the hospital in a turnkey project, in the turnkey arrangement. This was undertaken by Mezes Engineering Development Consultants Limited from Israel. They are a design and build contractor from Israel, with Sheba Medical Center also in Israel as the medical planning consultants. Phase 1 delivered facilities for surgery, radiology, internal medicine, pharmacy, obstetrics and gynecology, pediatrics, anesthesia and critical care, medical education, including medical simulation, accidents and emergency services, laboratory services, mortuary, and pain management. Also included were support services such as housing, catering, and so on. As part of the project package, a total of 22 senior doctors, 47 nurses, and 2 pharmacists received training in various specialties at the Sheba Medical Center in Israel. They constituted a critical mass of staff who were to be engaged at the commencement of the hospital. In 2014, the university established 7 strategic committees to plan for the completion and operationalization of the hospital. These were governance, human resource, academic and clinical services, research, maintenance, and finally, business, financial, and investment committees. In 2015, the University Council established a special purpose vehicle to manage the hospital. This was to take the hospital out of the mainstream of university operations so that it will be competitive. The University of Ghana Medical Center Company, a limited liability company, was incorporated, and an interim CEO was appointed by the university in January 2016 to see to the completion of the project, recruitment of staff, among other responsibilities. Council also provided the name University of Ghana Medical Center to reflect global and contemporary trends in the naming of quaternary level health facilities. An 11-member board was constituted to manage the hospital. Again, in 2015, the university signed an agreement with the then Honorable Minister of Health for the University of Ghana to own the hospital and for government to subvent it for a period of 5 years. In 2016, the University Council contracted the University of Ghana Business School to develop a business plan for the center. It projected that the UGMC will be able to win itself of government subvention after 5 years of operation. It also recommended a moratorium of 3 years and a loan repayment period of 15 years. Phase 1, with a total bed capacity of 650, reached practical completion at the end of 2016. And on 6th January 2017, it was commissioned by His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama. Thereafter, UGMC commenced a phased operationalization program. That's from July 2018, initially under an interim management committee recommended by the Asamoah Bar Committee, set up to determine a management model for the medical center. It also operated under a new interim CEO, who later became the substantive CEO. A reconstituted board was sworn into office in 2020. Departmental clinical services commenced gradually, beginning with OPD services in pediatrics, obstetrics and gynecology, family medicine, as well as pharmacy. And this was scaled up in November 2019, when staff strength increased significantly. The Medical Training and Simulation Center and the Medical and Scientific Research Center came on board in 2019 and 2020, respectively. The COVID-19 pandemic tested the resilience of the UGMC between April and December 2020. The center, which was fledgling at that time, successfully managed more than 700 individuals diagnosed with the disease, including those who needed intensive care services. Also, a UGMC COVID-19 Connect online service was set up, and there were about 4,000 subscribers who benefited from this service. Phase 2 was planned as early as the commencement of Phase 1, and it was designed to provide strategic income-generating services to complement Phase 1. It was planned that ultimately, and as part of a University of Ghana Academic Medical Center, UGMC will have an enormous competitive edge over others, both within and outside the country. Services included a nephrology unit, facilities for cardiothoracic and neurosurgery, facilities for assisted reproductive technology, additional VIP wards for obstetrics and gynecology, internal medicine and surgery, MRI and angiography equipment, additional staff housing, and the provision of drug and non-drug consumables. Phase 2 brought the UGMC's total bed capacity to 1,000. It reached practical completion at the end of 2021, and commissioning by His Excellency President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo occurred on 17th June 2022. The UGMC has come a long way from a conceptual stage followed by construction. It entered a brief phase when the corporate identity issues were raised. This was immediately followed by a period of stability when governance and operational structures were put in place, and clinical facilities were also put in place and kept running. Many are those who have contributed to this story, and they deserve commendation for their respective roles that they have played, cumulatively contributing towards the success of UGMC. Governance models. The governance of academic medical centers is a complex and unique enterprise, given the varied nature of their structure and tripartite mission. For effective governance to be achieved, it is important to ensure that the tripartite mission is not compromised. A successful governance model must have the following characteristics: presence of clear pathways to decision-making at the highest level of each partner. The governance approach must also allow for quick decision-making. It must facilitate alignment across the triple mission to enhance decision-making. Administrative structures such as councils and committees committed to advancing the partnership among institutions must be established. Partners must implement communication strategies aimed at engaging all partner institutions in key strategic initiatives. Furthermore, partners must leverage their collective existing competencies and resources to achieve their shared mission. One thing that is important is the expertise of board members in areas relevant to clinical care. This is critical to success. There are basically two types of academic medical center governance models: single leadership and multiple leadership. A single leadership academic medical center typically would have one fiduciary board, one team of executive leaders, all governed by a university's own governance structures within the university hospital and physician groups, with the university hospital and physician groups falling under the leadership of the university. Proponents of a single leadership governance model maintain that it provides clarity and transparency in determining two fundamentals: what an academic medical center is going to do, that's the strategic focus, and how the academic medical center is going to pay for it, financial discipline. The second type of academic medical center model involves multiple leadership, which is characterized by the following: the university and the hospital or health system, each having separate fiduciary boards and separate executive leadership teams. The boards have representation from both the university and the hospital or the health system to ensure efficiency in governance. This arrangement often brings the two entities at the top of the organizational chart together, and it can help each other align its priorities, strategies, and goals. There is evidence that universities that have restructured their academic medical centers to multiple leadership governance models have seen dramatic improvements in growth and profitability. Examples are the Washington University in St. Louis, Missouri, and Barnes Jewish Hospital, University of Alabama, and then Florida University. For these, the creation of capital via teaching hospital balance sheets has proven to be a decisive means through which the academic medical centers have been able to renew facilities and technology over time. Historically, academic medical centers have funded a significant portion of their missions through cross-subsidies from patient care revenues. That's the affiliated hospitals and faculty practice plans help support the academic mission activities through income from patient care. In some cases, support is explicit in the form of payments for salaries and fringe benefits of residents and faculty. In other instances, support is not monetary, but it takes forms such as providing space for teaching and laboratories. Medical schools also get revenues from tuition, research grants, contracts, gifts, and endowments. Schools affiliated with larger universities may additionally receive some support from the parent institution. For the research mission of academic medical centers, financial support traditionally comes from three different sources: grants from funding agencies and private philanthropic foundations, contracts with the biotechnology and pharmaceutical industry, and then, more importantly, cross-subsidies from patient care activities. Academic medical centers also have the opportunity to invest in new lines of business that results in innovative revenue streams outside their core services to mitigate financial risk. For example, ancillary services such as specialty pharmacy, ambulatory surgery centers, imaging centers, etc. Challenges facing Ghana's academic medical centers. It is obvious from the historical accounts presented that for the past several decades, Ghana has been trying to set up and run academic medical centers. But the big question is, how come we have so far not succeeded, like universities of Washington and Michigan, or even those in Nigeria? A number of factors may account for this. First, presence of a cultural difference between academia and health. While our universities with health training institutions have largely focused on the academic mission of education and research, the hospitals have focused on their clinical mission, namely excellence in health service delivery. Bringing the two cultures together to make them understand and complement each other has always been an arduous task, but it is something that we must do. Major differences also exist in the administrative and governance structures. The universities operate under their respective acts and are guided by statutes, while the teaching hospitals operate under the Ghana Health Service and Teaching Hospitals Act, Act 525, and its amended version, Act 1009. There is little recognition, so there are laws which are there. Little recognition of the academic medical center concept, and therefore a lack of appreciation of core collective responsibilities towards training, research, and patient care by both health training institutions and teaching hospitals. Although several opportunities exist for fostering collaboration for the realization of the tripartite mission, they have largely not been utilized. Affiliations or relationships have notably been loose and not guided or backed by law. So in most cases, they have been person-centered, mostly dependent on goodwill between a medical school dean or a dental school dean and a teaching hospital CEO or board. So today, if they are in close collaboration with each other, tomorrow, if one is not there and another comes, then there is a problem. This has been a vicious cycle that has plagued us in our quest to develop academic medical centers in Ghana. Different institution financing sources and needs. There's no place for cross-subsidization of academic mission from revenues from patient care, which is a common feature of academic medical center financing. Some teaching hospital management and board decisions have not been taken in the spirit of academic medical center cooperation and integration. Example, creation of academic and service heads in the same clinical departments in some of the academic medical centers, making departmental administration and operations very unwieldy. And I dare say that this has negatively impacted on departmental academic activity. Also barring faculty over 60 years with a wealth of experience from clinical service in some of the teaching hospitals. This is wrong. Then transition from hospitals to regional hospitals to teaching hospitals has not been matched by a commensurate expansion of physical infrastructure and human resource base to cater for the needs of the respective health training institutions. Then there is maldistribution of academic faculty in the medical schools and other health training institutions and teaching hospitals, with a high concentration at UGMS and SMS, resulting in a regular circulation of the same number of faculty among the schools. The older schools, that's UGMS in Legon, SMS in Kumasi, with large numbers, have always been serving as pivots or focal points for such circulation. Then there are strained relationships by human resource competition between the medical school and teaching hospital. Clinical faculty from the academic institutions, as part of their mandates, offer services to teaching hospitals, thereby raising the standard of care. But the services have not been appropriately remunerated, resulting in poor commitment on the part of faculty. Sometimes also there are salary disparities. So there are several factors which have accounted for why the academic medical center concept has not been fully embraced and operationalized with success in our country. What can we do as a nation to address these challenges? The way forward. Ghana is blessed to have in place the basic ingredients that make an academic medical center, namely medical schools and other health training institutions in university settings that train health professionals and undertake research, and teaching hospitals that aim at providing service to patients. These satisfy the three-pronged mission of any academic medical center. What is lacking, however, is our failure to understand the concept properly and our will to operationalize it. There are examples of best practice which we can learn from. Close by in Nigeria, for example, the components of the academic medical center belong to two sector ministries like ours, Ministries of Education and Health. But good governance and operational structures have been put in place and backed by law to ensure that there is synergy between the university or medical school or health training institution and the teaching hospital in respect of the tripartite mission. The Court of Governance of the university and medical school has the chief medical director of the teaching hospital as a member. The University Senate is also adequately represented on the hospital board, and therefore no major decision is taken by the hospital board without input from the university. Additionally, the CEO of the hospital, although a federal government appointee, is always a university professor who is also a clinician. Another good example is a shared academic health center in South Carolina, comprising the Greenville Health System in partnership with 3 medical schools, local medical schools. By establishing shared management team, board, and council, they were able to develop a strategic plan to include shared vision, mission, values, goals, and strategies approved by the 4 partners. It is interesting to note that we have laws in place, like those in Nigeria, to regulate our operations. The Ghana Health Service and Teaching Hospitals Amendment Act 1009, requires the University Council to nominate 2019, requires the University Council to nominate 2 representatives with considerable experience in health, education, and research to fulfill the requirements of the tripartite mission. At least one of them should be a woman, for gender balance, of course, who are not members of staff of the teaching hospital. And this is to ensure that the University Council, through its representatives, is actively knowledgeable about the operations of the teaching hospital. Board membership expertise in health, education, and research issues is also taken care of in the Act. What may be needed at this point in time is a cooperation agreement to spell out the details of roles and responsibilities and to commit the partners to operationalize the tripartite mission of any teaching hospital or academic medical center. Having shared values, goals, and strategies like the partnership in South Carolina will help harmonize relationships, sometimes working together, medical school, health training institution, and teaching hospital to generate income may be mutually beneficial. And I know this is happening in some of the academic medical centers and must be encouraged. One key driver of the tripartite mission of any academic medical center is its human resource. As explained above, academic medical centers attract top-notch faculty with a wealth of experience in their respective specialties. World-class patient care in academic medical centers principally is dependent on this. The faculty are those who provide this care, conduct cutting-edge research, and train the next generation of health professionals for our dear nation. This effort cannot be overlooked. I propose, therefore, the adoption of a faculty practice plan to ensure that an organized structure is formalized between the university and a health training institution, medical school, or between a university or health training institution on one hand and the affiliate teaching hospital on the other. This plan will ensure that clinical professional skills of faculty members are maintained, while at the same time, economic incentive and reimbursement for professional services utilizing a university-sponsored agreement are provided to faculty. The medical school or health training institution, university, faculty, and the teaching hospitals stand to benefit in the long run. The old professors and teachers, the role they play in any academic medical center is invaluable, and we should not leave them out of the equation. Their rich experiences must always be tapped to help groom the next generation of clinicians. I am always thrilled with joy when I see teachers at the medical school who taught me come to the University of Ghana Medical Center Simulation Center to examine students in the medical school. My teachers, the problem about maldistribution of faculty can be addressed through a robust residency training program to the highest level of subspecialization. And here, the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons and the West African Postgraduate Medical College deserve commendation for the central role they have played in this endeavor. Other professional bodies should also come on board, the nursing, the pharmacy, etc. Through a needs assessment, the specific needs of each school and affiliate teaching hospital in respect of faculty development can be identified and training tailored to meet such needs. Teaching hospitals also need massive infrastructural upgrades to make them function efficiently, meeting the needs of affiliated schools. The use of satellite hospitals is also key in this agenda. If you take the University of Ghana Medical Center and Legon Hospital, which is a stone's throw away, Legon Hospital can be upgraded so that faculty from the medical school, the dental school, allied health, can work in both places. Train students to any level, and offer clinical service, cutting-edge clinical service, as well as research. Noguchi is also there to help in the arrangements. Now to UGMC. The first phase of the operationalization process has laid a foundation for effective governance and operational processes, as well as clinical services in all departments. This phase also has seen research taking off. The Medical and Scientific Research Center has completed a Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation grant-sponsored clinical trials project. This was won through Washington University in collaboration with Noguchi. Additionally, they have won a competitive National Institute of Health grant, which they are about to implement. The next phase of operationalization will involve training. And when I talk about training, it's not the medical training and simulation center. It offers facilities for training. I mean residency training at all levels. In nursing, in allied health sciences, in pharmacy. And here, the UGMC would have to join hands with the College of Health Sciences to carefully develop strategies to ensure that this component of the tripartite mission is run efficiently and effectively. Concluding remarks. As I have shown in this lecture, academic medical centers are uniquely advantageous to any country. They are an asset that provides an environment for evolution in medical education, research, and service delivery. It has been shown that alignment of healthcare, education, and research at academic medical centers provides the best outcomes for patients. The adequate implementation and operation of our academic medical centers will enable them fulfill their tripartite mission for the benefit of all Ghanaians. We need to situate academic medical centers in medical training with prospects of expanding enrollment in our schools of students and also attracting more faculty. There are also prospects for research translation into clinical care for the benefit of our country. I am hopeful that this lecture will stimulate further conversation on academic medical centers with a view to deepening medical training, research, and service delivery in Ghana. Acknowledgements to the Lord God Almighty for bringing me this far. Also to my family for such wonderful support. And then my sponsors, the Bank of Ghana, fully sponsored this program. Then the Department of Anatomy, my own department, and then the UGMC, where I work. And to all of you present here and online, I say thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Professor Lawson. If you are in doubt of what University of Ghana Medical Center stands for, now you have it from the horse's own mouth. And you must agree we've had a comprehensive, detailed analysis from the beginning to the end. So please, let's give a round of applause for I wouldn't attempt to summarize this. I think the wide-ranging I can only pick up bits and pieces for emphasis. So you went through, gave us a background of historical perspectives, the history of AMCs, starting from Michigan, and then, how it all started. And I think, fast forward, we come to Africa, and we get a sense that Ibadan, got started first before us. And inherently, I think the leadership for any thought of AMC is important. Coming to Ghana, our history, and most things in Ghana, you can date back, and then we work ourselves forwards. And we're told that our history started in 1924 with Gajesbeck, one of the many things that Gajesbeck tried to do, and that didn't complete. And the plan was revisited in 1951, and then it was the University of College of Gold Coast, and somehow that also didn't pan out. And then the teaching hospital at Legon was a concept. And then the third attempt by one and only starter of all events, Kwame Nkrumah, with this wonderful hospital, USAID, 51 students, and turn around, and suddenly Ghana has to have its own medical school. And that is what all the excitement, when it all started, when you are forced to bring your own expertise, resources. It makes you think, it makes you proactive, and I think that is where the University of Ghana Medical Center truly started in 1964 with the excellent crop of physicians that we've seen, and they hold the excellence. I mean, the University of Ghana Medical School's record in excellence in patient care is without a doubt one of the finest on the continent. And then the notion that a medical AMC, academic medical center, and then and we have to understand the tripartite component of this that includes both the teaching, training, and research, and teaching, training, and clinical care, but the teaching includes research. So research, academic, and the research, academic with the teaching and clinical care. And then the notion of the aspiration that Ghana had of a medical village, the concept of the academic medical center, a medical village of excellence on the Legon campus, and actually area was designated for this, for the teaching, the university, and for research, Noguchi, and for the hospital, which is where we find the UGMC. So these were forethought, but that slowly have been realized. And then in the realization of the medical school component, the UGMC, the issue of funding, the planning, and the various phases, the phase 1, initially the 2011, that set the whole agenda, and then the phase 1, the hospital, all the clinical setup, the surgery, the pediatrics, and the whole clinical medical education, all that. And then when the phase 1 was completed, they went out and got a core staff of 22 physicians and 47 nurses and allied staff to get it started. So this continuous push to get the country the best of the AMC and clinical care is a time bound which we are continuously working towards. And I think Professor just outlined everything so critically and lucidly as to the various phases, and then 2014, and the role the vice chancellors, especially Professor Ernest Aite, center forward, push to get this whole thing realized in 2014, the strategic committees, the 2015, bringing in the company to make UGMC autonomous and truly providing quaternary services for the country. And I'm trying to pull out the various important aspects, but I think the bottom line is that to date, the academia and health services have yet to understand that if we do not work together, if we work together, we provide the best patient care. So our inability, and then central to this, both to academia, we're used to our statutes and all that, and then the teaching hospital are their acts, but in between is the research. So research promotes teaching and learning, and clinical care, I tell my physicians that they are sitting on a mountain of data that if only the university teaching and the physicians will get together and think together, will provide so many, papers and opportunities for change. And I think this is what UGMC stands for, is being the fulcrum to bring the almighty UG teaching and then the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. It has to find a way of bringing us together and working together, that without the three of us working together and pushing research, indeed research at every level, research at the, I think clinicians feel that patient care, but patient care is research. Every patient you see is a research data. And they don't appreciate that. I think they see more of the money than the research, but the research will bring you money too. So I think, Prof, you're giving us, thoughts and an agenda to work towards between the so-called academia, which you think is just there on its mountain, but to bring us down, and UGMC will be the fulcrum that will work around so that we'll work together to give the best patient care in the country. Thank you so much. Another round of applause first.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished audience, I think our chair also deserves applause for chairing the function so well. would like to acknowledge the following institutions for sponsorship: the Bank of Ghana, University of Ghana Medical School, Department of Anatomy, and the University of Ghana Medical Center. We also acknowledge the presence of the following schools: Health Concern Ghana. Are we here? Give us a wave. Good. Ghana Academy. Ghana Academy, are you here? Accra Academy, sorry. Accra Academy, Accra Academy. Okay. And then Ganata Senior High School. Ganata. Okay, very much. We also thank the audience. If you are not here, the lecture would not be complete, both present and virtual. Let's clap for ourselves. That's all I have. I suppose there's going to be another inaugural lecture very soon, and when the date is out, we'll let you know of it. Thank you very much, and have a pleasant evening. Everything rests on food, you know, and I forgot that. So, popularly known as item 13, make sure you pick your whatever when you step outside. I think the fellows will be at the lunch, right? Okay, fellows lunch. Thank you very much. So don't forget to pick something up before you go. Great. A pleasant evening. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.